Hi, I'm Sam, and today I'm doing a video with a Fiesta ST Edition. I've been thinking about small city cars and sort of funner, smaller, cheaper cars recently, and what better car to drive than Fiesta ST. So this is the Edition, it's the latest model, and it's got a whole bunch of options on it, but let's have a walk around the car and then let's go for a drive. Now, the Edition has a whole bunch of options on it. A lot of it is all this sort of black trim around, black roof, these 18-inch black wheels. This is in this lovely bright blue. Got black on the diffuser. And then let's have a look inside. It is actually keyless. Now, on the inside, the Edition has these sort of carbon fake carbon type thing. It looks quite nice. All STs, I believe, have these seats anyway. This car has the B&O sound system, which sounds really good. You can charge your phone down here. You can plug it in with this cable, and you've got CarPlay and all that. Touchscreen. Bit of space in the back. And that's about it. Along with all of the styling bits, this car has the adjustable suspension and a Quaife limited slip diff, which you can get on some others, but comes standard on this model, which I think might be a change that some people make. I haven't had a play with it, so I've left it at the settings that Ford have brought along. But let's see what it's like out on the road. Boot wise, because this car's only front wheel drive, you get quite a deep boot. Not too bad, reasonable amount of luggage can go in there. But okay, let's go. Around town, the things you notice straight away, I guess, would be the cockpit. This car, the Edition, has a few extra sort of like nice bits. It's got a leather steering knob, it's got this sort of carbon interior bits. There's just sort of nicer bits everywhere. But overall, the spec package of this car, it comes with all the stuff you want. So this car comes with heated seats, heated steering wheel. What else have we got? We've got the B&O sound system, which sounds really good. You've got CarPlay, stuff like that. Got a nice manual handbrake, and it just sort of ticks a lot of boxes. And the sound system is, I was genuinely like surprisingly good. It's really quite good, which I think is fun. And a lot of people that are buying a small performance car probably want a nice sound system. Steering wise, at this speed, it's a super quick rack. Like, that is all the way, which is not very far. It's great round town. It seems like that probably makes it quite reactive once you've got off centre. That first bit in the middle is sort of quite light and quite sort of dull almost, but then there's quite a large amount of force. I don't know the technical term, but I guess it's some sort of like return force to pulling it back to straight. Like it's not just an even progression, which is a little bit weird. I will see what that's like when you start going faster in a bit. You immediately notice it's front wheel drive. This car's got the diff, and because if you just put your foot down going around a corner, you can just power understeer, which is the nature of the beast, I guess. But you do also get torque steer, so if you put your foot down, the steering wheel might start to pull to the side a little bit. It gets a bit like that, which is okay. I'm not sure what it's like when you drive faster, but it's just a nature of having reasonable amount of power, 200 horsepower to the front wheels. Let's keep going. Gearbox around town is really nice. It's quite positive, but it's also, you don't require too much effort, so it's actually a really easy gearbox to use around town. Suspension, I'm going over some expansion joints right now, and it's quite like dum 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 dum. So this has got the adjustable suspension set up, manually adjustable. You've got to go and twiddle under the car. I haven't really got time, and I'm not going to play with it. I'm just going to leave it how they've got it set up, and hopefully that's a reasonable balance of all of the effects. I think this feels to me like a car that once you go faster, it will start to flow more and get a lot better. At low speed, town speeds, it's a little bit jiggly. It's sort of, like 20 or something, it's quite like boom, 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 boom. But as soon as you start pushing it a little bit faster, it does start to smooth out. So we'll see how that develops driving a bit quicker. Now, just coming off a section of the motorway, and fuel economy on the motorway, I got 39 on that stint, and that was driving at 70, pretty much 70. The car does have cylinder deactivation, so you'd expect it to be pretty good. I think 40 is not bad. I've heard higher numbers, but we'll see. I'm now off the motorway onto some slightly more fun roads. So let's go. Even without having to do too much, pedal position, it makes a nice little noise, this engine. 1.5 litre 3-cylinder, I believe. Little chirp on the gear change. What are the brakes like? Good enough to knock some stuff off my passenger seat. When you're shifting high up the revs, you get a nice like in between the gears, which is quite fun. Pedals, they're positioned really nicely for heel and toe. Like even around town, which is some cars are not a bit tricky. Well, it's plenty fast enough. I think recently I've been driving cars that are sort of slower and slower and slower. Not really slow, but 200 horsepower is the least amount of horsepower I've driven in some time, and I don't get in this car. This is a 0 to 60 6.5 seconds, which obviously will feel a lot slower than something that's 4 or whatever, but I'm really starting to appreciate being able to put my foot down for a long time before you're going illegal speeds in the UK on small roads. There is definitely a case for both, but there's a huge case for this. And you're still going too fast most of the time if you keep your foot in it. Why do you need more horsepower? I don't know, it is fun. This car has a few settings. It has normal mode, and then it has sport mode, which I presume is a slight slackening off of the traction control, and then it has track mode, or you can turn ESC off. I don't know what the difference in calibration is, but track mode turns ESC off, and it says you're on your own, only on track. When you start to go faster, what's the steering like? Well, it's weighted up quite nicely. That bit in the middle that's a bit, so you sort of get pulled back to the middle. I don't know whether that's the front wheel drive or what, but just the things I'm feeling through the wheel. Just a lot of fun. It's just a lot of fun, this car. The gearbox is great. I'm loving changing gears. It feels quite nippy. I think for most people, everyone loves the idea of driving rear wheel drive. But in reality, most of the time, you don't necessarily get to feel a car being very rear wheel drive. Whereas this, you just sort of plow it in. You've got that safety net of front wheel drive and understeer. I think this is quite a lively car when you start to really hammer it. I think you're going to get the rear coming around. Let's drive a bit more. But what's it like? Well, when you start to push faster, it's quite fun. Moves around a little bit, and I'm not going crazy, but it's good fun. When you start to turn in a bit harder, you can feel the rear starting to go. And I think with more time, maybe more space, A track, absolutely. You really start to get some good rotation with the rear, which is quite fun. It feels like a car that wants to move around, and that is exciting. That is exciting. Well, it's time for me to cruise back home, pick up some lunch, and I'll see you when we get back. And that's it. That is my drive in the Fiesta ST Edition done. Overall thoughts, love driving a small car. It was great around town. When you start to go faster, the steering, it's quite quick, and it sort of pulls back to center quite hard, but it loads up nicely when you go quicker. You can feel what's going on with the front wheels, and the more you push it, you can start to feel the rear starting to come round. Like it feels like it's got a bit of looseness there that you can play with the balance of the car. Even though it's front wheel drive, you can definitely get the rear moving. I'd love to take it on track or something like that and really bung it into a corner. But overall, engine is fun. It makes some nice noises in between, like little pops in between the gear shifts, and it's just a fun car. It's just a really fun car, and it makes me think about all the other cars that I get to drive and stuff like that. But for like an on-road experience, something like this is wicked. It's wicked, and like I don't really see how you need much more on a road. But anyway, for those of you that haven't seen it, I also have a podcast called the Car Chat Podcast. It's on YouTube and all the podcast platforms. But I will see you in the next video.